Hi Taurus, and welcome to your reading for the transition of Leo, which is partially affected until the 11th of August with a Mercury retrograde. Alright, so let's start. First of all, as you know, or maybe you don't know, I am reading the signs who have the most clicks and most comments. So please kindly, if you want to get your sign read earlier, please just keep clicking, commenting, anything that you kind of like find it resonates with you. It really helps. And also I know that kind of like my readings can be exhausting because it's like so much information. So that's why I have one full reading, and which is this one, and then I have a whole bunch of highlights that at any point you want to come back and refer, you don't have to keep kind of searching for it. So I believe this is going to help, right? Okay, so this time around you haven't been in the first 6 signs, so I'm not doing I'm not reading the cards that jump out. I'm simply going straight to the reading. So guys, I hope this is an incentive for you kind of like clicking more for the next time. So let's see, Taurus and Taurus for this Leo transition. So what are the whoa, where do I start? Hierophant is the card that actually represents you guys, and you also have Queen of Pentacles over here, which kind of like it's really showing that solid ground. And you also have Three of Pentacles. Everything this month is about rules. It's about being solid. It's about kind of like getting like some kind of like moral hold on the situation if you really wish. So let's kind of like address these general energies that will be happening this month, right? You see, the Hierophant is the card of traditional values and institutions. It can represent a priest, but like in modern life it more or less represents a counselor or mentor who will provide you with wisdom and guidance, or a spiritual, or that's where it is like coming with a priest, if this is kind of like where you kind of like go to really unload and kind of like get it. It's a priest, vicar, preacher, imam, rabbi, or a monk, right? So Hierophant also, and this is the part I don't like with my love and hate relationship with this card, represents somebody who is very set in their ways, right? So it's kind of like institutions that's kind of like represented here, religious of course, but also economic and political, social, sort of like masses and masses of people. It can indicate herd mentality, right? Because as we know, you know, the priests and, you know, clergy often abuse their status, like not just them, but anybody who is any position of authority. And the police also is in this card as well. So, but also after we remove all this negative stuff, we have positive stuff. This is marriage card, right? And this really can talk about, that can signify that now is a time to kind of like conform to conventional tradition. So it's not a time to rock the boat, right? So that can actually even speak about being in some kind of traditional ceremony, or that you might start creating some new traditions or rituals of your own. For those of you in relationships, the Hierophant is clearly that commitment, marriage kind of card of major arcana, and you can clearly expect that your relationship is going to become more committed, and you begin kind of like going toward this like new milestones, kind of like what is next in this relationship. You have been dating somebody, now you're getting engaged, or you're moving in together, something else is happening, right? So this is really good card to get if a committed relationship is what you want. If you're just single, that talks about a new relationship which will be built on love and commitment and security. So good news everywhere, where, you know, like that's why you have like this Queen of Pentacles. We're going to feel really comfort, you're going to feel protected and peaceful, and it's two of us kind of like, let's call it financially secure, right, if you wish. When it comes to money, you might get involved in some kind of like group or team projects, maybe at work, and you should really do exactly what is expected and avoid any, let's say, rebellious or unconventional methods at work, and you will be successful. So because you see, when it comes to kind of like money and career, the Hierophant is a significator for sharing knowledge. So you may find that again you will have a boss or a teacher or mentor who is actually going to help you toward your career path. And it's almost like a lucky streak in this situation, like the light shines on you, right? And also, actually, there's another alternative that you might become a mentor or trainer of some sort to others. It's also really good to start studying or take courses, kind of, but it also in a very established educational institution. As far as, let's say, stock market or gambling of that kind of like sort, nope. Any risk, avoid any risk. Conventional investments are only kind of like what I would kind of advise you over here. And also very conventional how you manage your money. Stick to kind of like creating your budget. And if you need advice, kind of like really go to traditional financial, basically, institution. This card can also sometimes talk about health, and you know how, especially these days with medicine having such a slow path to finding things out. On the other hand, we have nutritionists who are having maybe too fast of path, finding something else. We are really confused in how to do and where to go in which direction. Sometimes, especially in countries that don't have health insurance, I luckily live in Canada and we do. So in fact, it's kind of really awkward. Over here we have to pay for nutritionists and we don't have to pay for a doctor, which is kind of like weird. If you have certain plans, then yeah, you can also get coverage by nutritionist. So my always go-to is nutritionist, and if this doesn't work, I'll go with the doctor. The blood tests are always valued. In your case, it is really telling you go with mainstream, whatever is mainstream, right? So you know, it has to be conventional medicine, and it's going to, maybe you're going to even introduce some kind of sort of health routine, for example, exercising daily or daily walk, or even taking vitamin supplements to kind of boost your immune system. So I really think that it's going to be kind of like pea in a pod. You're going to really feel, oh my gosh, I am kind of like coming and feeling myself over here. And lastly, let's not forget that this is a very spiritual card, right? It is known as the link between mankind and the higher power. So a spiritual advisor might be coming into your life, or you might come to me for a reading, right? Because you know, my readings are not, you know, like, I mean, not fairy tale, like circus kind of like style, but it's more like therapeutic, and I actually even give you advice what is the best path to follow. So if you're not adhering to traditional religion, or you know, like you don't have a spiritual advisor, then this card would probably telling you that you'll be benefiting from some kind of like ritual, or create some ritual or ceremony in your spiritual practice, and it is really going to help, right? So for example, I'm studying this shamanism right now, and there is a little forest to where I live, a tiny little kind of like chunk of it. And when I go there, and I saw that somebody else is obviously into shamanism, because I'm seeing one tree that is receiving gifts, and those gifts are a whole bunch of different things, from crystals to letters to paintings. And sort of like each time when I'm passing by there, which is daily, I kind of like acknowledge this like 4 different directions and that kind of like sort of things. So let's go and see what is next here. And I had to stop a little bit because we did get a visitor, and guess what? I think he's either Scorpio or Taurus, right, Matrix? Say hi. Say hi. I think he's telling me, kind of feed me. Do you have any? Are you hungry? Are you hungry? Are you going to purr? Yeah. Let's not do that. This is it. Okay, so let me feed a kitty and then I'll be right back. All right, I got rid of my big black boy. Nothing that a little bit of catnip cannot remedy. Apparently he preferred that to food. So it's also very interesting because you are having the Hierophant down here and you're having Matrix. So it's a very strong Taurus energy happening during Leo, which is not very surprising, being that a Leo is a fixed sign and so are you. So there are two cards, Wheel of Fortune and the World, that like having these fixed signs kind of like representing, holding this entire kind of like concept together. Like the world need us, right? Like as fixed signs, except that kind of like we sometimes feel like we are too stuck in the rut. Not so much you guys, Taurus. Like, I mean, the other three signs are more affected because you are after all earth signs, and for you moving forward in a kind of a gentle way, it's okay. So let's see what we have. You have Ace of Cups to start with. So Ace of Cups is a lovely promise of some, I guess, new beginning. Ace of Cups can really talk about relationship, right? It can talk about you feeling really love for what you do, opening yourself up to emotions and feelings. And you know, it's kind of like, it could be also fountain of youth that you'll be going under some kind of like a beauty rituals. Just make sure it's after August 11th, right? Because this is also talking about, she's drinking from a fountain, the fountain of life, and sort of like that holy grail kind of a thing. You know, how do I memorize this? How does this basically stay together? This is kind of like the great opportunity, love and fullness, sort of like, yeah, you're going to feel very powerful about that. You're going to feel that you're looking freshly at some kind of new situation. So it's kind of like very important. So this card is crossed with, oh my gosh, it's getting better, with Three of Cups. So cups and cups and cups. So it's kind of really weird because we are really going through karmic period. In this karmic period, what is basically happening is almost like awkward, that we really need to make amends with people who actually hurt us in a way that we need to apologize, not the other way around. And this is simply kind of like going to make us whole. It's hard, and it's teaching us all a lesson of forgiveness and humility. And I can all see here that you will be having gathering of friends. To me, Three of Cups is always about friendships, right? It's kind of like, look at them, they have like these big three cups. They're clearly emotionally connected. They clearly have something to share. So it's kind of like almost like celebratory time. So raise your glass, make a toast, kind of, guys. Like there is like, maybe you will be attending weddings, kind of parties, gatherings, and I can see in both of these cards moments of joy. So this is really good, absolutely good foundation and a good prediction for the month to start with. So the bottom, the ground, and ground is really important when it comes to earth sign, is, well, King of Cups. Cups, 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 love, love, love. I'm in love. You Taurus are in love. That's going to be your mantra. I'm in love. You are smitten, and you're going from one to king. You're going from beginning to the end. Is this going to be whirlwind romance? I'm starting to worry over here, because something is going to feel really, really good over here. So what is happening over here? So for those of you who already have a relationship, well, let's put this one here as well, just so you know. We know that we actually have this card we need to deal with. In fact, let me zoom out a little bit, if I can, a little bit. Now I can just do everything or nothing. So it is like indication that, you know, the energies, and this is kind of like you guys as well. Of course, this is like a, like, I mean, pre-Raphael painting, so there are like no Taurus heads on it, but nonetheless, this really represents, oh sorry, this is cups, not pardon me, take this back, this generally represents Pisces over here. So I might be dealing with Pisces over here, you might be dealing with another Taurus, or generally with another water signs, right? Because there is like something about gifts and gifting, but these gifts can be sometimes just, and I know this is not exactly appealing to you, but it can be understanding the soul of others, and it kind of like feeling a sense of bliss and being blessed at the same time. So it's kind of like maybe benefactor that I see over here as well, but it could be that somebody has such a great heart and the profound sense of really touching you and touching your spirit and compassion. You know, it's somebody who really gets you. It's not somebody who's always trying to resolve your problems, and especially if you're a woman, we hate that, right? So you just want to kind of like unload, and you don't really want to engage in conversation, and this is exactly the type of a dude that he's going to do that, right? So what is above you is Five of Cups. Now that worries me. We have cups, and it started to worry me that something might be developing super quick, which can happen with Mercury. Mercury is like really fast and makes you think this is it. Maybe you're going to start singing love, 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 you know, and in fact you might overlook a whole bunch of stuff. If you don't know someone, you need to understand that even at 6 months you are barely getting like the tip of the iceberg where you kind of like know someone, right? There are like so many kind of like different things that like need to be explored. So when I have the Five of Cups, this is really telling me about wounds, and you see all fives are relating to your ruler. So there are like certain issues that you kind of like in life you encounter like, I mean, at one time or the others, right? So this can be nostalgia, as simple as that. We are going through Mercury retrograde until the 11th. This can be sadness, that can be broken spirit, this can be, oh no, he or she is not what I thought they are, kind of like utter disappointment, let's call it that way, right? Because I really don't like this. It's going from this big happiness to what did I do? So that can be as simple as you have a wonderful date, you already having tan tan ta tan 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 ta tan in your head, and then a dude doesn't call you back, or you take this girl out, and then you know you send her WhatsApp message and you see typing, and then you realize she's not typing to you. It can be that kind of like a letdown over here. Five of Cups in this deck I don't really take as serious as I see them in the others. It almost like looks to me that she is simply enjoying a tea over here, but there is like clearly a build-up of some kind of sort. So next, let's kind of explore kind of past foundations and why is this month emotional month, at least what I see so far. And there is another cup. So maybe something started for some of you already. Maybe something is kind of like already developing. You see, this is kind of like that initial stage. These two cards are very similar. You know, with Mercury retrograde, sometimes things start and they stop, and they start and they stop. It's sort of like you have a date that is just amazing. It's mind-blowing. And it's almost like you stay up late at night and kind of like telling each other sweet nothings. And then, poof, people just vanish. But they vanished. It looks like they vanished in a situation because maybe they got engaged with work and the stuff and sidetracking, and we had like really horrible energy, really horrible energy. I don't know if you guys went through any of that kind of like stuff. So Page of Cups is really telling me that there was like something, either it can be connected here or it can be connected here. So it could be like two different types of that. So if it's connected here, it could be that somebody who you had spark with kind of like pulled their affections and kind of like you don't see them. But for the others, it could mean, okay, we are now going into that next stage, and you really anticipate that next stage, right? So this also talks about like sort of give from the heart and offers and sharing and accepting. It was like really something that felt really, really serious. As I said, I'm totally seeing completely two different outcomes that are happening. So let's see next about what is imminent, what is really immediately coming up. And there it is, the Emperor. Look at this. Now we have two major arcanas, and I consider aces sort of like half of the major arcana, because they're, after all, the four doors that you choose. Do I really want to go emotional, kind of like memory lane, or I want to kind of like work on pleasures of life, pentacles, and so on and so forth, right? But here, like, it's almost like working, like, you see, this is kind of like, as I told you, it's about spirituality, it's about big groups, but this is about your own private kingdom, what you do and how do you move forward. And I mean, it can be fire sign, can be Aries in particular, but generally the Emperor is having that okay, I have to figure certain things out. I have to figure in kind of like direction, and I shouldn't be emotional about this, which is almost like a contrast to all of that. Like, it's the Empress who is emotional and nourishing, but the Emperor is sort of like, hey, I rule and I cannot really allow feelings to come in the way. So this can be about control and solidity, and both of them are sort of in control. I guess we have morality to kind of like keep in check all this kind of like stuff that are going on. This can actually talk about your boss as well, but it can talk about tyranny, which I really don't think and see it as a case. Now, for some of you, it can be complete confusion, that you have not only one but two suitors, and one is poet, and it writes beautiful, texts, and even, quotes you lines, and it's kind of artistic soul, but it's kind of a quiet, and you still really don't know what to expect. You might even feel with this person, which is kind of really strange, but it's kind of like, if you think through it, it makes lots of sense. This person is not really extremely affectionate. It's kind of like soft place to fall. So, especially if you're a woman, maybe we like to be chased, or like to kind of have somebody who's showing the interest, because this dude clearly is showing lots of interest, and kind of like he has this presence in him, and you're going to deem this person way more important than this one. Well, sure, the Emperor is the king of all kings, for sure, but this dude is exactly what we need when it comes to really serious relationships and in kind of like serious direction that we really want to go. In basically category that represents you, we have 3 of Wands. So okay, I see some motions. Now we have 2 threes. Threes are connecting to that Empress energy. So this is kind of like peeking through, even though she's not really showing up. It's only somebody saying, the Empress is going to come out soon. So you feel the presence, but they don't have to be necessarily there with you. So 3 of Wands is that proverbial quote-unquote ship card. Your ships are coming in. So nothing ventured, nothing gained kind of a thing. And so you might be starting some, I don't know, new business project. You might be starting new job, guys. And I know that people say do not start before 11, before the Mercury retrograde is over, because later you might be dealing with the same thing, such as looking for a job or issues with the same boss. Kind of like it skews perceptions, right? But I don't really agree with this, because what can you do? Not to start it and then you feel jinxed? Really, it's a really bad feeling, right? So Three of Wands is really talking about it, believe in yourself, including, look, you know, Mercury retrograde, no matter what happens, I'm going to take you on, kind of a thing. So believe in your future as well, and future will be bright. Like, I mean, I'm seeing kind of like putting like strong boulders and foundations over here. So this is also about independence. Some of you might be starting a business over here, something that you really, really love. Some of you are also starting a business because you are disappointed in love. Others of you are starting business with your love partners. Like, there are lots of permutations here that really I need to take in account. So the next thing is checking your environment. So the other people and kind of situations that you can find yourself in, well, it's going to be Four of Cups. So see, it's kind of like, yeah, maybe you're going to like this party time and kind of getting together. So Four of Cups is they're looking down. They're really not seeing that something really special being offered. And it almost looks to me kind of like missing opportunity. It might be possibly due to Mercury retrograde, that you will plan something and something might not pan out. But this card is also relating to this one, where it kind of like talks about needing to have a firm ground and needing to know what you're doing. Sometimes it can actually indicate boredom. You might actually find that like people you're surrounded with, you know, are not necessarily people you really want to have. Maybe you really want to change environment. So I also have to ask, with this being showed, like, that you're going to question certain people around you. Why are they going around with their heads kind of like bowed, right? So they need to really look up, right? They need to look up. So this can actually talk about, as I told you, missing the opportunity, and maybe you're giving up on somebody too fast. That can be, or somebody giving up on you too fast. Maybe it was you who got really busy, another person interpreted that he or she doesn't want me, and there are like other, like, there's other fish in the sea kind of a thing, and then you saw that and you saw, why we had such a good connection kind of a thing, right? Because this can talk about negativity and bad temper. This can talk about boredom. This can talk about, hey, I'm such a good mood. You know, when you go out in your great mood, and then you find kind of like this, what do you call it, wet cloth, wet person who is like just a freaking spaghetti, cooked spaghetti, blah. And like they just freaking much destroy it. So it's kind of like showing how much this negative energy is stronger than positive energy, because it's just like you pour cold water in hot water, and it's clearly not hot water anymore. It's much closer to cold water over here. So environment, it can get tricky. So again, remember, just tried and true, because you'll be going forward and backward between what is kind of like making me feel comfortable here in the situation, right, and what is the right thing to do. But at the same time, I think it's going to be some kind of like entrepreneurial spirit that is kind of budding up, or maybe it's going to be somebody at your work that you might feel discomfort, because it's kind of bringing all these kind of things when you get involved with somebody in your working environment. We all have hopes and fears. So this month for you, look at this, is Five of Pentacles. It's that fear of abandonment. It's a classical therapeutic feel of abandonment. But good news is it's reversed. Bad news, it's Five of Cups. So where do I start first? Because again, look at this, 5 and 5 and 5. In spite of all of that, you're going to feel very unstable, and this is why I see that you will thrive and thrive and thrive, like, I mean, to obtain some kind of like sense of stability. And you will, after the 5th of August, is going to get significantly better for you, right? So in this particular card, it's, I think, really talking about transition. It is like such sad card, right? People passing by and hiding their faces, and all of their worldly possessions are with them, right? So homeless. Hey Matrix, leave it. There is like another Taurus deciding to rearrange tripod. Hey, just leave it alone, pretty please, pretty please. So this kind of like is really talking about darkness, right? And this card is talking about darkness, but this card is saying, okay, you can choose dark, you can choose light. I'll tell you, just use these traditional remedies, right? And traditional remedy is, if you're, it's almost like, sounds to me that your serotonin is really low. Maybe you just simply need to spend at least 30 minutes in the sun. Your D vitamin could be very low, and you are maybe getting overly emotional. I really don't think that you guys are technically very emotional sign. You are very much slow and steady wins the race, right? But this card clearly, right, these are like 3 5s. And 3 5s are 15, and 1 and 5 and 15 card in tarot is devil card, right? So guess who has problems with the devil, right? The church kind of apparently finds the kind of like personal villain, right? So when kind of like this combination shows up, it tells me that I think some of you came to conclusion what doesn't work for you. Maybe some of you have been in codependent relationships. Maybe it has been too many to tango in the situation, right? This 5 of Pentacles, when it reverses, is telling me, and in this category I'm reading both up and down. Here you are again. So the fear is, oh my God, here I go again, I'll get hurt, I'll be abandoned, somebody's going to take my money, right? And all this kind of like, almost like paranoid stuff. But when it reverses, like, things are getting better. You see, this stuff that seemed to be, and they don't see it because they're looking down, is now the foundation. It's now something they can reach for and reach into and kind of like really take advantage of. So in your case, it's kind of like finally finding the door in the dark and grabbing this and opening this, right? And it's really important for this kind of happening. So which kind of brings us to the finals. And there you go. Look at this. We have Lovers. So now I have 4, 5, and 6. But Lovers is reversed. So when something is reversing, is really telling me, like, you know, this whole thing is over here. What do I do in this situation? Maybe you really want to go in this direction. You maybe want to go from 5 to 6, but it didn't completely turn because there is like something. There's some hesitation. So I'm really wondering if this fear is coming in a way, or you are missing the opportunity, or somebody else in your environment is deeming you, oh, you're too busy, or you're not returning my calls, or like, why am I not important to you as the other people, right? Because the Lovers is always about union and communication, which everything else kind of looks this way. But it actually, when it reverses, it can talk that, yeah, it could be the beginning of a new relationship, but it's not going to have the potential that you thought. Yeah, it might be a great sex, but you know, it's not the sex that you wanted. You wanted the real thing. You wanted your king, you wanted your queen, kind of a thing. We're seeing that there. And I really think the answers are in these 2 cards. The answers are, well, you know, it could be some essence of maybe you need some time for yourself. I'm wondering if some of you have wounds that you maybe thought you're ready. Maybe somebody showed up who seems to be so super nice and fun. And you know how interesting is, sometimes you hit somebody on a good day when you kind of meet them and everything looks like fun, and then, you know, they show up to the second date depressed or drunk or disheveled, kind of a thing, right? And to you, these are all really big sins, because look at this, you're all about control. And instead of like saying and brushing this off as pff, okay, it's kind of onesie kind of a thing, you are saying to yourself, oh boy, here I go again, here I go again, here is the crap happening again. And almost like to protect yourself, and this is how Taurus protection kicks in, you're saying, I'm going to stay out, I'm not going to give it a chance. So you might actually just go for the physical level with this person, or you will feel this person only wants the physical thing. So I do have to tell you that either or could be really premature, because look at this might actually turn. We don't know. We're going to see what September brings. But if you are not ready to move forward, or if this person is triggering something in you, probably is the best to kind of really pay attention to good friends, because this person could be a really good listener and good friend, to tried and true, to traditions, kind of like, as I said, spiritual advisor, get your tarot reading, go to, you know, find a mentor, be a mentor. That kind of like is going to kind of give you back that self-esteem and the power, the sense of power, and the sense that you're going in a new and good directions. Definitely you're not going to suffer at work, even though this can also talk about some promises made to you at work and somehow not landing to where they should be. Like somebody said something and then you know, like you're going to get promotion and we are considering if you're this, and then you remind them about that and they go, no, I never said it. So kind of a stuff. But I really wouldn't worry about it, because it's very last card. It's not that important in Celtic cross, and it's not important because it's just direction. It's something that will come at the end of this kind of like entire Leo passage, so toward the end of August, right? So we are talking about, you know, having a little dip of fortunes, but by that point I'm going to have another reading, so we are going to know more. In your reading, I really want to clarify a few things. That's 2 cards, or 3 cards in particular. I want to know what I can find. So let's see this 4 of Cups, your environment. And here I'm having jealousy and snake. No, is it? Falseness. Well, snake. Cat chasing the snake. So it could be a third party that's happening over here. It could be that the relationship is really not holding the potential that you really thought. You could be very reserved and very cautious about these people coming into your life, because even if you get a whiff of, actually I really agree with that, when you get a whiff of something that they might be, if it's somebody they're not serious, you know, I think you're a little bit kind of like burnt once, shy twice kind of a thing, right? You are just saying, I don't want it. So it could be kind of like that your environment can be very tricky. So somebody who you thought it's kind of like upstanding might actually turn out not to be, might turn out to be false, kind of like person to be in your life. So this is all about, remember, this is what I was saying here as a potential. So let's see that 5 of Pentacles over here. These are my gypsy Hungarian cards. So that 5 of Pentacles is, look, thief and love. When you are going to feel that there is like nothing, because you guys have love and love and love and love. So do not shy away from it. You are just afraid of your heart being squished. But you have so many opportunities, maybe even 3 opportunities over here. Just this month, solo this month. I mean, serious ones, not fly-by-night kind of things. But you're afraid. You're really afraid. You're approaching everything almost like you don't want to add for dating. You want to add for marriage, right? Are you serious? You're not serious? Like what? Do you have serious intentions about my daughter? Kind of a thing. So, yeah. And that's going to be where you're going to start realizing that you need to kind of let your hair down a bit, right? It's important. Let's check this 5 of Cups over here. you have fortune and you have desire. So this can be just simply, as I said, nostalgic. It can be simply, oh, I feel let down, and I feel, oh, I have headache, and like everything is pounding, everything is getting on your nerves, and you're starting to have like really weird thoughts, right? Because very similar in this card, desire, that they're like actually next to the window looking out what is in store for me. This could simply mean the passage of time and aging, and what should I do. But overall, like, I mean, this is really saying you're closing one door, another door is open, and there is this desire. There's like somebody, maybe you guys felt, I never want to date again, and now this person gave you this gift. Remember, I kept seeing this gift, but the gift is, no, it's not over. I am still able to feel things. Yeah, maybe not the right person, but thank you, I kind of like understand that. So that's very important to realize. And lastly, let's check the Lovers card over there. Lovers, like lovers, or should we just be friends? And so what do I have here? Officer, that will be official card. That's kind of like repetition. And letter. Again, you don't want to fling. You want the real thing. The letter, it's not going to be the bill. It's going to be, you know, communication from afar for some of you. For the others of, hey, you know, tell me what your intentions are. Just save my time, and I really want to do that. Kind of like, hey, let's kind of deal with that. And it definitely is going to be some kind of communication. Just communication is really important, especially during Mercury retrograde. You need to be very clear what you want. But other than, you know, your environment being a little bit tricky, you guys have a good solid judgment. I really wouldn't worry about it. It's kind of like, yeah, you might feel a little bit, you know, pissed off, because like you will feel like you want to start with something, want to go something, and kind of like it's turning to crap, right? But you know, this kind of like slow and steady energy that you bring to the table is going to be very important this month. And this month you're going to have that in abundance over here, right? So yeah, if somebody is not right, just back in the ocean, more other fish over there. You kind of like have to realize that you have to go through this process of doing that and move forward. If you are in a relationship, maybe, you know, you're not going to, it's going to feel that you're solid there, that everything is happening, but something, tiny little thing will be amiss. Tiny little bit thing, like somebody serves you the beautiful steak, but it's not really like sizzling, right? So I really don't think that, you know, I would say no to this reading personally, because this is simply kind of how life comes in waves. So just stick to tried and true, and everything really works out. As I said, for some of you, if you're open to it, it could be love in the cards. So my dear Taurus, enjoy this. And just don't forget to check your moon sign and your ascendant as well. And lastly, I really want to remind you that you need to click and comments, because the next time around, and what I'm having, I'm going to have possibly the mid-month update, and I'm going to have X series. Then maybe you can come faster. But guys, there are lots of choices here, and it's going to be pretty interesting to be you this month. So I really want to know how this is going, and who is staying, who is leaving, and who did you choose in the end. So love you, Taurus, and all the best. Until the next time, have a wonderful August.